So now we're gonna look at Reddit freaks are threatening Kirsche, and you won't believe why. And I have a sneaking suspicion this will be a lie, because I can believe a lot of things, especially when it comes to American Maoists, which I think are going to be the people that are going to be fucking up, trying to fuck with her.
Resident Shudette Kirsche.
Shud it. Okay. We've gotten to the point where a 90s Democrat is a chud it, right? Foxoo! Exactly, right?
Who is once again angering all of the worst people. In this case, she is angering...
Judge me by my enemies. And this is how I knew that I would always be on Chibi Reviews' side. Because I've seen his enemies. I've seen who boo him. And I'm not impressed.
Redditors. Now, she is not very well liked on Reddit. But then again, who really is? Okay? Anybody who has an opinion, even a hair length to the right of Mao Zedong, is an enemy of...
See, the thing is I'm not entirely sure that Rev actually knows how actually correct he is on this thing. Because, again, wokeism, right? Wokeism 1.0 was effectively just an American reinterpretation of Maoism, just like Maoism was a... Well, actually, to be fair, Maoism was a conservative Stalinist offshoot, and Stalinism itself was an offshoot of Marxism, which was actually, again, decently conservative as far as Marxists, ideologies go. And I'm covering up Rev, so I need to move my character. But I'm not entirely sure these people actually understand, ideologically speaking, how close these people actually are to Mao Zedong, right? It's like yeah, sure. It's like the joke is like anyone to the right of Mao Zedong, but it's like no, these people are actually unironically American Maoists, right? Like
the Redditors. But I want to go through this absolutely golden thread. Okay, it really goes places, and I want to show you guys what's going on here. So Kirsche makes this post saying, "The people missing parts of their brain are mad at me and wanting me to never feel safe again. For checks notes, posting a book I bought due to it having a historical synopsis and knowing nothing about it or its author. Wonder what the approved literature list is." And this...
I'm curious as to what this ultra nationalist. Let's see if this is actually correct.
This is from the VTuber drama subreddit, which is an absolute wasteland, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see this tweet from Kirsche with her plushie here. And it says, "Kirsche flaunts book from pro-white ultra-national..."
Incoming a cosmic death note rant. Fair note. Nah, I'll leave it be, right? For the glory of Korshkovo. Actually, I really like that name. I'm going to use it. Catgirl Kirsche, yep. Offshoot of an offshoot.
And pro-apartheid thinker Andres Bernardus Dufries, and they are very upset about this. They're mad about books, ladies and gentlemen. I thought these woke people loved reading banned books and stuff like that makes them some sort of a superhero, but
none of these people have ever actually read any of this shit. A lot of these people don't actually read in the first place, right? Like, they legitimately don't. I hate these people. No society, whether it be run by Thomists, libertarians, objectivists, or fucking like Scottish common sense realists, no society can really put up with communists, or let's be perfectly honest, Democrats. Right? Just this is why I support covenant communities. Just like, again, get together if you can with people who have similar beliefs, enter into a covenant with each other. Part of that covenant is physically removing people who invade your space and do not belong. It's just
not in this case, apparently. Let's read through the thread here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's old. I'm just not as familiar with the Kirsche lore as I am the Pakistani lore, right? I remember when she was like, "It's Pip America," and everyone was like, "No, we shall be Pip Pakistan," right? Let's see. It's about making someone feel like this as uncomfortable as possible. So not to sugarcoat it, you want to start another harassment brigade, quote unquote. She's been getting that plus lost opportunities, plus doxing and death threats for a while now. At this point, your public outcry is only feeding her resolved. That's -7, by the way, so people don't like this. Let's see. It's about people like her not deserving comfort or being permitted to settle into a space without pushback. Hope that helps. So that was Asinine Archon, interesting name, right? People like her should not feel safe ever again. So she was directly quoting the Friend for the rest of their life. This is a neutral statement. So it's a neutral statement. And by the way, it looks like it's a picture of Corone with tape over her mouth as like the actual. Let me turn my character off for a moment so you can see. Looks like they have a picture of Corone Inugami with tape over their mouth as their profile pic, so that's interesting. But yeah, so it's like saying people like Kirsche should never feel safe again for the rest of their life is a neutral statement to this person. These people are incapable of neutrality because neutrality to them is their side.
Sure. So not to sugarcoat it, you guys want to start another harassment brigade, referring to another user saying it's about making someone like this feel as uncomfortable as possible, referring to Kirsche. This person says, well, she's been getting that, plus lost opportunities, plus doxing and threats for a while now. At this point, your public outcry is only feeding her resolve. And you can see...
And to be fair, it's like, yeah, at this point, why should Kirsche give these people anything, right? They deserve nothing. All they do is they destroy, they create nothing. So it's like, yeah, this is like one of those things where it's like, it's entirely reasonable to continue out of like spite of this person, to be perfectly honest, right? It's like the thing I was saying, it's like, look, if Islamic extremists come after you, fucking double down. Like, they're not going to stop. They're the only thing that these people understand, like, whether they be these antis or the other people, is just like is just not giving a fuck and continuing, right? Let's see. Kirsche, or Kirschia, the Principality of Korshovo are neighbors to Pakistan. Like, I gather that, I understand that, right? Redditor's mad at Korshu because she's an uncontrollable woman.
-7 up dudes, or I should say 7 down dudes. I gotta get the Reddit language correct here. But yeah, they're really mad when they hear the truth, right? They're saying like, oh yeah, Kirsche, she's...
At this point, they're just embracing evil. A lot of these people will say they don't believe in evil, but I mean, they definitely treat you as evil for being a quote-unquote heckin' Nazi chud, right? They do believe in it, even if a lot of these people will just like openly say they don't, and it's like, well, you seem to act as if you have a concept of good and evil, even if you believe yourself too high and mighty to say it. But yeah, some of these people are just like objectively evil people. Why didn't that work? That should have unpaused the video.
Never been through it. Let's make sure she feels uncomfortable. Like, guys, you wackadoos have been coming after her for a long time. Like, you're already doing this.
Yep.
Very clearly. But this user replies saying it's about people like her not deserving comfort or being permitted to settle into a space without pushback.
Again, because she is uncontrollable, as you said, yeah, as you said, Boo Huckley, she has to be destroyed. Because that's all this is about. It's about the control of the means of cultural production, and VTubing is a means of cultural production. So just like they wanted to take, just like they took over the animation industry, just like how they took over the comic industry, and just like these jackasses took over movie entertainment through subversion, the entire goal here is the subversion of the VTubing market. That way they can control cultural production in this method as well. And funny enough, you can tell who these people are, and they're useful idiots whenever someone says something about the VTuber community. There is no VTuber community. That should be bleedingly obvious, right? What community does Niara share with Pipkin Pippa, or with fucking Hakos Bales, or with Lily Hops? Right? What? real question. What... I'm going to use a very extreme example of like two people who would almost certainly not like each other. What overlapping community does Kirsche and Feeblemind have in common with each other? Right? Like, serious fucking question, right? No, not Kirsche and Feeble Mind. Sorry, my brain is still on the Foxu. I mean, fucking Koki, like Koki Saparana and Feeble Mind, not Kirsche. Fuck! I'm not entirely sure that Kirsche and Feeble Mind would get along. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know that they wouldn't get along, right? It's just, I was thinking about something else while talking. I was like, hold on, I had a straight thought thinking, and then my brain fucking messed up my words. Fuck! Okay. There's a lot of overlap. Yeah, no, my brain went full retard, right? That was actually on me. I'm totally responsible for that one. That one was me fucking up. Grand Foxu Sovereign. VTuber models. Well, I mean, again, even there, not everyone's the same. Like, not everyone does the same stupid bullshit that Nanolist does, for example, right? There are other people you can get VTuber models from. Hell, Chikage, right, does VTuber rigging, and he does it for a lot. He does it for a very low price compared to everyone else. Now you don't even need the VTuber rigging in the same way, right? We got PNG tubers, we got, you know, the 2D live tubers, we got people who do 3D tubing, and, you know, for example, like what Fillion did a lot of the time. And then we have, you know, now leaf tubing, right? So it's like, what fucking, like, what community is there? There is no VTuber community. Anyone who says that there is a VTuber community is a tourist for the most part. Either that or a subversive actor or a useful idiot. One of those groups, right? What an embarrassing fucking thing. I was thinking of I'm gonna keep that in just because that is absolutely embarrassing and funny at the same time. Holy shit. Hello Road. Hello Road. Let's see. Leaf tubing, yeah, the AI stuff. Like the AI, the leaf tubing is the AI, because the AI PNGs, right? My point exactly. Yes.
Hope that helps. And then another totally not deranged individual says, people like her should not feel safe ever again for the rest of their life.
These people do not forgive and they do not forget, right? Trying to appease them is worthless because they will never accept you once you have gone on to the wrong side. Not that I have any reason that anyone should want to appease these people anyway. Leaflet is making an open source DIY VTubing tool / suite. I mean, she's already made it. It's already out there to be used. I have it on my computer. It's just I haven't had the time to use it. VTubing is a group of many nations, some of whom are at war with each other. Yes, basically. Lamer than Anon.
Is a neutral statement. These people are deranged, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the good guys, the superheroes on Reddit, right? Doing their Marvel LARP here, thinking they're superheroes. But in reality, all they're doing is harassing a woman nonstop and wanting to make sure she never feels comfortable again.
Yep.
Because she does the crime of wrongthink.
And also because she's a woman and they feel like they can actually just abuse her. There's a particular vitriol that these people who believe in this like class conflict theory, which all of these people do, where it's like the oppressed class, quote unquote, then rises up against them as the liberators. It's like, yeah, because they believe that they have a right to your labor, right? You as the oppressed don't belong to yourself. You belong to us, the liberators, right? So it's like, yeah, when a poor person sides with a rich person, they can get pretty fucking bitter about it, right? When a fucking again, when someone who's like black sides with the quote unquote white, right? Or, you know, when someone who's BIPOC sides with the quote unquote white, you know, think of like Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams, all the shit that they had to go through, right? It's like, yeah, these people don't actually care about that. They just care that you serve them, right? It's the same thing with women. Think about how much slander Ayn Rand got, right? How much abject lies were actually told about what she believed. And also G.E. Anscombe, right? You know, well-respected Thomist and analytical philosopher in, as it was a woman. Think about how much they fucking despise her. Think about how much shit that people like, Christina Hofsummers have had to have endured by the left, right? These people hate the minority, quote unquote, the oppressed, when the oppressed don't actually agree with their allegedly liberatory worldviews. They will absolutely abuse them specifically as a sort of class traitor, right? It just happens to be funny that in the case of like race politics, like with critical race theory, the class traitor actually just ends up being a race traitor by like the overlap of the categories. Let's see. The concept of a fox girl is dangerous to modern day politics because foxes have have foxy behavior. Even LARPing or thinking about fox girls will open your curiosity to questioning other beliefs. Exactly.
But
the kitsune has been renowned for their cleverness and their mischief.
Twitter thread covering all this continues to go places, okay? This user saying this guy doesn't seem to live in objective reality and just wants to start stuff. Where you can see this post from the VTuber drama subreddit saying Kirsche responds to Reddit post with fears of safety and alluding to calls for violence, proceeds to showcase docs of someone mere hours ago. And then, it continues.
I highly doubt that Kirsche actually doxed anyone. Very fucking doubted. But I do think that counter-doxing should be on the table, right? If you get doxed, I don't really understand why counter-doxing would be such a bad idea, right? It's like, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? You posted a meme about them deserving the product of our work. The one by Iron Tiger. Yes, the one by Iron Tiger, right? It's yes.
Responded to a post I made regarding her and attempted to create a false equivalency narrative live on stream to an audience of thousands. Good thing it was all recorded. Claiming I am alluding to calls for violence despite no such evidence existing. It's the same user who I believe said she should never feel safe again. What do you think?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's obviously projection, right? They do these things and then they accuse you of doing the things that they're doing.
Someone means when they say someone should never feel safe again. Does that sound like a call to violence, or does someone reading a book feel like a call to violence? I'll let you, the viewer, decide. But
well, again, you got to remember these people not even 10 years ago were like silence is words are violence. So if you criticize them or you oppose them verbally, you are committing violence. But also, they then said silence is violence. So even if you didn't say anything on the topic, you were guilty of violence. And what that means is that, again, if words are violence, then that means responding to your words with violence is proportional. On the other hand, if silence is violence, responding to your silence with violence is proportional. So, we shouldn't be surprised about this. I think a good chunk of us remember all this.
This post continues on saying she deflects her criticisms by saying the post is engaging in false truths and lies. Not even a mere 2 hours after ego surfing and talking over the person making the arguments rather than to them, she proceeds to hop onto Kiwi Farms and showcase a live docs page of someone she doesn't like. Hypocrisy like this speaks to itself and showcase how dangerously OP is lying, especially when it's someone like her she does not care about. And Kirsche responds saying, "Oh, he's that weird Asmongold profile picture reply guy that lies about everything already." And
oh my god, this guy has a fucking documented history. Okay, that's even funnier. Submit and embrace their ideology or be punished, kiss the shit-covered boot. In my opinion, I would rather die. Right? I would unironically rather die.
Don't worry.
Literally, my opinion is better dead than red, right?
The weird Asmongold profile picture.
But I'd rather also win than die. So it's like...
guy will show up in just a second, right? I have seen that individual many times. He is...
Get bodied. Exactly, right?
The Caped Crusader. He is Reddit Batman. He just goes around on social media whining about a bunch of people that have wrongthink and goes to enormous lengths to make sure they don't feel safe. Right, but here's another user saying, you talking about that TK guy, he replied to you earlier, he replied to your earlier post, and I almost responded to it, but I figured I just let him mold into obscurity, which is based. That is a good route, ladies and
yeah, there does come a point where it's actually better to not respond to someone because they're just literally not worth responding to. Which I think is what Talon Aronson was like figuring out. Is like, hold on, is this someone that's actually worth my time? Right? Let's see. Naruto is part fox and he turned his inverted ninja society upside down. Nick Wilde, the fox from Zootopia, helped save society twice with his bunny partner slash waifu. Star Fox, enough said. Indeed. I will be honest though, I have not watched Zootopia 2 and I have no particular plans to do so. Let's see, Lamau, I agree, better to die on your feet than live on your knees. True, but it's also better to live than to die in the first place, right? So, you know, you have, like, it's what Nux says, you have a moral obligation to win.
And gentlemen, let the psycho sometimes mold into the void. It's a fate worse than death for a lot of these people. But then Kirsche replies that saying, yeah, the TK guy made the exact same tweet as the Reddit OP, despite there being no docs on the page. I was reading people clowning on him here, so I guess he had to go rile up an echo chamber he knows will do dirty work for him and start up harassment again.
Again, these people, like, numbers are their strength, right? They want to cause mischief, they want to cause chaos, they want to actually disturb the society around them, disturb the peace, and then frame you as being bad for pointing out what they're doing. I don't like these subversive people. Oh my god. Let's see. Foxes are based. Let's see. Well, if you're gonna die, might as well go out like Kukulane. Yep. Absolutely.
And this is the exact same post. So here's the Asmongold profile picture guy.
Beowulf is also another one where it's like, again, victory. Even if you yourself can't beat the victim, beat the fucking villain. Lead someone else alongside you that can beat the villain in your stead and that you can watch beat the villain, right? Oh my goodness. I always find it funny that the dragon in Beowulf basically acts like a spring.
Posting the same thing as the Reddit thread onto Twitter, so it's very obvious that's the same user. And of course, there they are! Totally not searching up everyone they hate constantly. How do you find stuff like this otherwise? Saying claims to have photos of the other book she was going to post, somehow post the only book that is essentially the Mein Kampf of South Africa.
Is it even that? I don't even believe him. Like, I don't know what this book is, but I genuinely don't believe this guy. First of all, I don't believe he knows what the contents of Mein Kampf actually is, right? Second of all, which, by the way, Mein Kampf is poorly written, wouldn't suggest. If you actually want to understand, like, Nazi ideology, you'd be better off reading National Socialism by Rudolf Jung, which the guy actually tried to explain what exactly he believed, and then it shows just how dumb the Nazi ideology is. Unlike Mein Kampf, which is a spell book, which is designed to put you, the reader, under a spell. Right? Now, if you understand how the spell works, it doesn't work, because then you know someone's trying to put you under a spell. I digress, though, right? I highly doubt that this book, per se, is the Mein Kampf of fucking South Africa. But, even if it was, that doesn't mean anything. You still have to read this shit to understand what the hell is going on, right? It's like, okay, what's motivating this behavior? Oh, why don't I actually read the thing the person has written to explain himself, to actually, like, again, get a better understanding of the people I'm having to deal with. These people do not understand that actually understanding reality around them, which includes the people around you, is kind of really fucking important. When Kukulane died, he still killed his killer. Exactly. I'm just saying that, like, the backup is, hopefully, if, like, you can't kill the killer, someone else can kill the killer, and you can at least live to see the killer killed, right? It feels like I've been inside the Bendy episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends the past decade. Oh, that one hit. That one hit. What book is she showing? I have no fucking idea. I don't know anything about South Africa. I'd probably have to ask someone like either Psychro or fucking Gaming Syndicate. Let's see.
Who is regarded enough to believe someone that lies for ad revenue in Twitch donos? They've said a lot of things about Kirsche lying and doxing people and doing all these heinous things. And there hasn't been one coherent piece of proof. Besides 90% of it just being like, trust me, the little bit of quote-unquote evidence they try to introduce doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even line up with their claims. It's actually insane.
So I'm going to have to point this out. Like, TK kind of in TK's defense, and I hate doing this, you can't really prove the thing by like a citation without like with the doxing unless you link to a report, which I wouldn't believe from this person anyway, right? Or two, directly just showing the docs as it happened, and I wouldn't exactly suggest doing it anyway, right? Ancillary, like other than that though, it's like just the way he's behaving and the way that like all of this is happening leads me to believe this guy is almost certainly a fucking like a pathological liar. Did my stream go down? Hopefully not. I'm getting throttled. Not receiving enough viewer. Okay. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let me try something. Oh, well, that's unstable, but it's still going, so I don't know why that's the case. I don't really care for Kick, because Kick doesn't seem to have anyone on it. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but YouTube's being throttled, it seems. I don't even know where I was with this. Long story short, you have to read the books of your enemies in order to understand how they actually function.
But of course, people continue on saying, LMAO, you want to talk about books? Here's your dictator simping and cosplaying.
Oh, yeah. The devil's advocate for TK, right? But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, sure, that was I already gave the devil's advocate, but at the same time, you know, observation would lead me to believe that this person, you know, again, just based on background information we have, probably a lying scumbag.
Oh, she. With Hassan soy-facing, literally soy-facing over Mao Zedong's Little Red Book. I will never forget this. This is the most pathetic moment in history. Pure propaganda slop from Hassan. Bootlicking dictators, bootlicking a dictator responsible for tens of millions.
Again, my opinion is, I've made my opinion known about this. I don't think Hassan should qualify for citizenship. I think if you read this 14th Amendment and actually read the words of the people who wrote the 14th Amendment, it's very clear you need to have political jurisdiction of the United States, not some magic soil to make you an American citizen. So, my opinion, this motherfucker should be denaturalized and he should be deported. I don't care if they deport him to China. Just any fucking place that's not in the United States.
Of his citizens starving to death, among other political executions.
It started buffering? Yeah, I kind of gathered. I don't know what causes that, and I can't really do anything about it. But I turned off a lot of background processes just to prevent that from happening, but I guess it still happens, right?
And things like that. But then, Asmongold profile picture guy says, based as F. Also, the Little Red Book isn't viewed in the same lens as Mein Kampf is. As one is created for propaganda of Mao's government and communism, while the other is explicit rhetoric aimed at bringing the ending and destruction of an entire ethnic group. Hope this helps.
Okay, so what happens to the entirety of the bourgeoisie? What happens to the bourgeoisie? What does Mao and Marx and Stalin, what do they want to happen to the bourgeoisie? Last I checked, when I was reading through the works of Marx, one of the pillars of communism was the murder of their enemies. So, yeah. Detain, denaturalize, deport, exactly. Ooh. Hold on, I might be able to make a song out of that. I'm gonna write that down, hold on. Hold on. Detain, denaturalize, deport. The slaughter of the middle class? Yeah. Well, the middle class is the petty bourgeois, right? So.
These people lie as easily as they breathe. And also, look at the brutality here. 10,000 views, 0 likes.
And again, this is what you eat the rich, right? Again, literally eat the rich. Very violent language. But this is, again, never... You should not tolerate communists in your midst, right? If you find, again, this is why covenant communities are really important. There should be conservative and libertarians should be able to set up their own covenant communities. And when a communist comes in and like trespasses on the covenant community, they should be able to be physically removed from the premises. I'm just saying, that's my entire, that's my thing, right? And the way that you do this is every part of the Covenant community should be private property, right? In fact, actually, there is actually a community in the United States where even the road is private property, where up to the center line of the road itself, that is also private property. So the property line extends into the halfway point of the road. That way, if someone who's not supposed to be in the community drives into the neighborhood, they can also be trespassed. So, yeah, again, I am full on for Covenant communities and physical removal. If some communist dickhead like this gets into like a conservative community and starts causing trouble, it's like, yeah, you'll be asked to leave, and if you will not leave, you will be physically thrown out, right? And if you resist, well, this is private property, and conservative and libertarians have a particular idea about what happens when you try to deprive someone of the use of their property, right? When I am dealing with a communist, I hear my inner Vlad whisper in my ear, based.
10,000 people scrolled past this reply, and not a single one chose to like it. Not one person agreed. This isn't Reddit, homeboy. Okay, nobody is supporting this wackadoo speech over here and your delusions. And of course, they have 17 comments all dunking on them, but it gets even worse. As Triggerpoint points out, this guy is crashing out with a whole slew of edits. Brother, if you need 4 edits to your post to try to make a point, you have lost the plot.
Okay, I'm not even going to try reading most of that because, again, the little sticker in front of it. But I can at least read these two because it's like right here, and Rev's head is covering part of this. It's like, edit, hi Kirsche and her brigaders. They're not brigaders. You're just literally like harassing her, and you deserve to be fucking countered. But anyway, I'm glad this post, there's no apostrophe, there's no fucking, you misspelled I'm, by the way. I'm glad this post forced you to fall back on your timeless strategy of pretending to not know anything and self-victimizing. Again, like, projection. Edit 2. Calling Alex Preddy a pedophile who deserved to die and saying that he was not a victim is pretty evil, Kirsche. We have the receipts to prove it. Okay, post the receipts. And they never do.
Never raised anything worth talking about in the first place. Just pure delusion.
I will say, though, oh, that was the wrong button. I will say, though, the Alex Preddy shoot is not as good of a shoot as the Renee Good shoot. The Renee Good shoot is pretty uncontestable. You watch the footage and it's like, okay, you did drive and hit a ICE agent with a car, and it takes longer for the nervous system. Anyone who knows anything about the human brain knows this, but it takes longer for the nervous system to de-escalate from a threat than it does to escalate. And the evolutionary reason for this is very fucking apparent. But in the case of the Alex Preddy shooting, even then you could still justify it, because again, someone calls out weapon, and yes, the weapon is taken, but the person who actually does the shooting doesn't see the weapon get taken. The weapon is not communicated to have been taken. So yes, you actually can say that even though the Alex Preddy shooting is not as, it is messier than the Renee Good shooting, but at the same time, it's like, God help you trying to find someone. If you took this to court, God help you, right? I think there's a large contingent of people who would look at this and be like, well, there's no way that he could have known that the gun was no longer in the guy's hand, right? But I digress.
Delusion and seething. I would say get a job, but like, this is their job. It is their job to seethe.
Well, it would have been their job. I mean, who knows? Maybe this person used to be paid by USAID, and now he's just got all this, free time on his hand. I don't know, right? I don't know. It turns out a lot of people online who were pushing all this bullshittery used to be paid by USAID, right? And anyone who was paid by USAID, for the most part, I'm like, I am glad your job is gone. I shouldn't have been fucking subsidizing you in the first place, right? What am I sending condoms to Uganda for? I didn't ask for this.
24/7. It just doesn't pay, but that's what they do. They write light novels all day and night about the evil, bad VTubers.
Okay, hold on. Now we can actually read some of this. Okay. I kind of want to see what edit 3 is.
but that's what they do. They write light novels all day and...
Okay, hold on. I could probably go a little bit further and get the whole thing. Oh, well, that goes fast. That scroll reel goes pretty fast, even for this. Okay, frame by frame. Okay. So edit 3, you pushed articles from places like Daily Mail and New York Post, notoriously biased and unreliable news sources. The Daily Mail is considered garbage by even the British. So when you ask if you would post something like this knowing the context, yes, I think you would be, because you have. Furthermore, I've made the distinction between owning a book for historical perspective as opposed to what you do. I don't believe you. We don't have to play these games, and you aren't very good at them either.
Night.
Okay. Considering how much it fucking decoheres during the scroll, I don't know that I'm going to be able to read this fourth one.
About the evil, bad VTubers. And Kirsche eventually replies saying, literally admits to wanting to reignite a harassment campaign. By the way, my point isn't just to bring attention, it's to make this enough of an issue where backlash is too much to ignore. So here is the expanded quote here saying, I know it's easy to score brownie points pointing out obvious evil people like her, but my point isn't just to...
She's obviously evil, chat, right? If you can't see it, it's because you're evil yourself, right?
Bring attention. It's to make this enough of an issue where the backlash is too much to ignore. I've personally grown tired of people like her getting away with it all the time. She can't keep getting away with it, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't believe they literally did the meme.
Getting away with it all the time because we've become so numb and conditioned to this stuff, just existing and floating around in the ether.
I'm tired that this shit exists because we've become so numb to this that we kind of just like tolerate this instead of, to be perfectly honest, putting these people in their, in their place. Be like, hold on, yeah, let's all just not do any business with them. I fully support parallel economies, right? It's like, okay, you don't want any of our business, you don't want any of our money. We should be able to make it such that we don't have to do any kind of economic interaction with this person, right? But, you know, that's just me suggesting a decentralization of a lot of our financial institutions. But I guess, you know, conversation for another time, right? Being hit by a car is attempted murder. Yes, obviously, right? That's like, it's a multi-ton weapon. I think people forget that, like, the kinetic energy formula, right? The impact formula is mass. It involves mass and fucking velocity. Like, you can get a small object to have a lot of kinetic energy by getting it to move very fast. You can also, again, get a heavy object to have a lot of kinetic energy just by getting it moving at all, right?
Accountability is something people need to remember again, and I feel...
Not to mention, like, again, as someone who's been hit by a car before, I wouldn't suggest letting yourself be hit by a car.
Feel like I'm doing an injustice, sitting and staying quiet, then getting the word out there and try to spark a change, even if it fails.
See, again, it's like, inaction is not an option, right? It's like, oh, I feel bad for not doing anything. It's like, interesting. Again, inaction is not the neutral stance for these people. Action is the neutral stance. Specifically, action that they like is the neutral stance, right? They never graduated science. I would imagine, like, if you took even a middle school level science class, you should understand this. Even if you didn't take a science class, I think most people understand this.
And then the entire room full of Redditors stood up and applauded. Holy cornball, ladies and gentlemen. This person could pick anyone in the world to obsess over and to try to stop and to get accountability for. And he picks the Butterfox, okay? Like, what are we doing? There has to be something more important to dedicate your entire life to.
No, because that would take real effort. And it's all about, again, virtue versus virtue signaling, right? It's like, do you want to actually put the actual effort to become, so, you know, to actually make something of yourself, or do you want to have something, or do you want to have the appearance as if you're making something of yourself, right? the appearance is easier to to telegraph than the actual transformation itself is to undergo. That's literally just why this keeps happening. These people are too lazy to actually do something with their lives, so then they busybody everyone else.
I'm too employed for this drama. Everyone is. You have to.
Come on, I enjoyed the time I got hit, flew, and landed on my forehead as a kid. I think I only remember the flying and the bleeding part. Vehicular car crash. Kids don't learn nothing after 6th grade. I did see some of the changed letter gradings for one school where you could get a B for a 60. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? According to them, yeah.
Be multitudes of unemployed to genuinely believe this is a rational way of looking at not only Kirsche but the world.
Yeah, this person doesn't have a job. This person probably doesn't have a family. This person has no real aspirations in life, right? This person has literally nothing going on for them, right? They're looking for a dragon to slay, and it turns out the easiest dragon for them to slay is, online. So that's the one that they go for.
Sparking change. Yeah, we're sparking change against people like this, shining a light on these crazies to understand the kind of
illiterate graduates,
crazy, cultish behavior you see among their ilk. Okay? All they're doing at this point, they're not achieving some victory. They're just getting farmed for content. I'm surprised he can spell accountability. I mean, I'm impressed as well. But that's really the situation.
To be fair, we don't know that he actually spelled accountability. It's entirely possible that autocorrect did that for him.
Unfortunately, nothing new for Kirsche. She has been subjected to all kinds of harassment and life ruination campaigns. But at this point, what else can you do but laugh at them? If they want to provide the free content, you farm them, okay? When life
monetize your haters,
gives you free content, you farm it. You farm it, ladies and gentlemen.
Just tend your content fields, man. Just tend your content fields, right? It's like when your content fields give you a meme, tend to the meme. When your content fields give you a fucking a whale, right? Harpoon that whale. When your content fields give you a lolcow, milk them for all they are worth, right? Turn your haters into turn your haters into a source of your amusement and income. I don't know why my pro chat crashed. It said something about like a level 2 hype train. Was that actually a thing? Hold on. I don't think that's a thing. Let me check. Oh, excuse me. Whew.
But that's all I really have to say. I know a lot of people support Kirsche, and
oh, I mean, obviously she's doing fucking amazing work with like things that no one else is talking about. So it's like, of course we support Kirsche. She's like one of the few people still trying to actually do things, right? Like actual worth in reporting. Okay, it doesn't seem to say anything about that. I don't know why it told me there was a level 2 hype train.
It's always nice to talk about her. Unfortunately, it's typically when crazies are crashing out over her, but
yeah, she has a video about medical mishaps that DEI and medical mishaps, and I actually have something about that I don't think that she mentioned, but I have to listen to what she says about that, because if she misses one particular thing, I will have something to talk about. Holy crap, right? Specifically, the grimoire that was given to the American Medical Association. Really interesting. But we'll talk about that when we get the opportunity.
Content will content.
I like her work reporting on breach. Exactly. Right. She's doing legitimate work that no one else is doing, and she doesn't get the credit that she deserves for the work that she's actually put up with, to be perfectly honest. And it's like, whenever I need to know about something about Bridge, Kirsche is my primary source, right? For other things, I might go to someone else. But as far as Bridge goes, she is, as far as I am concerned, one of the primary sources that I would look to and respect on that particular area.
Right.
All right, so that was Reddit freaks are threatening Kirsche, and you won't believe why, right? Okay. So let's see. Oh yeah, I was already looking for the next thing to make content out of, right? So y'all, let me know what y'all think, and I will see y'all in the next video.